Hey everyone! Welcome back to Snip to It. This is Carrie, and today I'll be showing you how to make elegant and sophisticated Eclipse cards using your Cricut. These beautiful cards typically feature text cut out of an image to create a subtle raised 3D effect or a recessed look. Pairing this technique with watercolor images is perfect for weddings, Mother's Day, or sympathy cards. I'll walk you through designing and assembling these two different styles so you can create these gorgeous cards with ease. Let's get started. First, I'll show you how to design classic Eclipse cards with raised text cut out of an image. Start by uploading your image and resize it if necessary. I'm resizing my image to 6.75 by 4.75 inches to fit on a 5x7 card base. Next, type out your text. I'm making a Mother's Day card and I'm going to keep it simple using the word Mom. For Eclipse cards, a thick serif font is always good. I'm using a font called Bright. Now, position the text over the image wherever you'd like. I'm going to center my text, which will then include parts both of the image and white space on either side. Now duplicate those layers. I like to create two copies of my image and text. One I will use to cut out the text portion, and then the other will serve as a base to build my Eclipse card. So using the first copy of the image and text, select the layers and slice. The top layer is the original text. Keep this to duplicate for your spacer layers. The next layer is text sliced out of the image. This is going to be the top layer of the text part. The final layer has the image with text cut out of it. Now most tutorials for Eclipse cards would have you use this layer as your base, then use foam tape or spacers to raise the letters cut out of the image. I don't like this technique because it's easy for the finished text to look like it has a dark offset. Instead, I delete this layer and I'm going to use the next pair of text and image as the base. So on this layer, select just the text and set the operation to score. Then attach the score lines to the image. Now you will be able to place your text on the base using the score line as a guide. Instead of foam tape, I use layers of cardstock or craft board to make my text 3D. This means I don't have to worry about foam tape, which is really never skinny enough to use with thinner parts of fonts. So duplicate your text, creating as many layers as you need to elevate your text to where you want it. I'm going to use 3 layers of craft board with this particular project. If you're using just medium cardstock, I would use 3 to 5 layers. For the card base, I'm going to upload one that was designed in another program that has rounded corners that match this image. You can use any card base you like, including just using a rectangle with a score line across it in Design Space. Now you're ready to click Make It. Your top layer of text and your base panel will be on one print and cut sheet, and your spacers will cut on another mat. I like to add a bleed when I do the print and cut images to make sure there is no white border where there shouldn't be one. Assembly of these cards is really straightforward. All you have to do is stack your letters. Here I have my card base, my image base, my top layer of text, and my spacer layers. My image base has a score line outlining where the text needs to be placed. I like to assemble Eclipse cards from the base up, adding glue to the base and placing the text layers on top. I will be adding 3 layers of my craft board letters, plus the printed letters which will be added last. Just a side note, there are 2 brands of glue that I use for card making, Art Glitter Glue or Barely Art Glue with a metal tip. I had to switch glues after the first letter here because my Art Glitter Glue ran out, but either glue is good. I'll include a link for them in the video description below. So, put a very thin layer of glue inside the score lines for your letters and place the first layer of spacer letters on top, making sure they line up perfectly with the score lines. You will then add the rest of your spacers and then top them with the printed letters and you're totally done the Eclipse effect. All that remains is just attaching your Eclipse image to the card base and you've got a very elegant card. Eclipse cards with a recessed letter effect are even easier to make than the stacked text ones. Start by uploading your image to Design Space and resize it. I'm using this watercolor heart image which has its own background, and I'm resizing it to 6.5 inches wide. Type out your text and choose a font. I'm using Cooper Black here. Size and place your text however you want it, and then select both layers and duplicate. Just like with the other Eclipse card, for the copy that will be your base, change the text to a scoreline and attach it. For the second copy, select both layers and slice. This will create your top layer. You can delete both the text layers, and the layer with the words sliced out is your top layer. Create your spacers by duplicating this layer and changing the operation to basic cut. I'm going to need 3 spacer layers, which I will be cutting out of 65-pound cardstock. I'm also going to finish this card by uploading another card base and a stitch effect SVG that were designed with another program just to jazz it up a bit. Now we're already ready to click Make It. Now I've got my card base, my base layer with a score line where the text needs to be placed, the top layer, and 3 spacer layers. Notice how I kept the center of the O, which is called a counter, from the top layer and each spacer layer. First, I'm going to build the center of the O by stacking all the counter layers. Then I'm going to add the spacers and the top layer. I'm just going to use the tape runner for most of this, but I'm going to add a little glue around the letters to make sure small bits, like in the E, stay flat. Stacking the layers is easy to do because you can just align each layer by lining them up at the bottom and sides. Now that I've completed my Eclipse layers, I just attach it to the base and I'm done. And that's it! Now you know how to create both raised and recessed Eclipse cards using your Cricut. These designs are simple to make but add a beautiful professional touch to any occasion. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Cricut crafting tips and ideas. Let me know in the comments which style you prefer or if you have any questions. Thanks for watching and happy crafting!